U2, Dylan, The Clash, Wonder, Bowie, Springsteen, and I'll just give you a little sample of some of the stuff you can expect to hear on there. Here's Duffy.
Say live and let die.
Yeah, so a bit of Duffers doing Live and Let Die.
Live and let die.
The Kooks on there as well. Bit of a stretch for the Kooks, and Lily Allen with Mick Jones from The Clash doing The Clash's Straight to Hell. So that's some of the sort of stuff that you'll hear on this new, as I say, War Child album. All the money goes to charity. So we'll talk about this tune that we're going to play, and also kind of charity records more generally. After you've heard this one, this is also on there. Scissor Sisters doing their version of Roxy Music's Do the Strand. Scissor Sisters, their version of Roxy Music's Do the Strand, which is featured on this new War Child Heroes charity album. And we come to you, Sammy.
I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
You loved it?
I really loved it. I mean, I love the original anyway. You only often get to hear it now at family discos, weddings and the like, but that was brilliant. I'm all over the Scissor Sisters anyway, but that's probably the best thing they've done in a long while.
Dan, what's your take generally on the charity album? It can be a mixed bag, so I'm sure done for,
Yeah,
reasons.
well, it almost always is a mixed bag, but it feels a bit churlish to criticise them per se, because usually there's an honourable cause behind it. But I would generally, with my smug, self-righteous hat on, if I like the cause, maybe I'll just make a donation rather than buy the album.
As if.
Yeah, right.
Rubbish. Remember all the days when we used to live together?
Yeah.
We never did anything for charity, did we?
Yeah.
Remember, we never bought the big issue? Nothing.
We actively laughed at charity.
Never saw a copy of the big issue in my house. Great days. Har, you are a man who both loathes the Scissor Sisters and good causes.
I do, yeah. I did buy the first War Child album because it was the first time that Lucky by Radiohead was ever heard anywhere,
Oh, right.
which was astonishing. And having heard the tracks, the little snippets we played before that, I was prepared to be upset by that. Then you said it was the Scissor Sisters, and I was even more prepared to throw down my headphones and storm out.
Because you're a homophobe.
Well, no, just because they're dreadful. But that was mildly funky, and I quite enjoyed it.
Thank you very much indeed for your opinions. Round of applause.
Quite eloquent.
Well done. So, as I say, on today's show, we have been trying to cater to you, the listeners, in every which way we can, and someone did get in touch. Let me see, it was Roxanne from Bristol, currently in Birmingham. She says, would you perform a short radio play, please? Very much an underused art form. I'm sure if you listen to Radio 4 more frequently, then you will hear plays, but we've concocted a short play. We've not written anything. I'm just literally, we're just going to put this together for you now, kind of improvise it freeform style. We've already established that Sammy is some kind of teenage dirtbag.
Hello.
And she is, she's had a baby. We've decided she's had a baby. You joined the play quite late. it's third act, probably. And it's been going so long. It's 5 hours long, this play. It's exhausting. And she is hooked on laughing gas. There you are. And she has had this baby, but she's not sure who the father is. There are two ne'er-do-wells who are possible contenders, played by Dan and Harry. Harry's playing Trevor.
Hello.
Okay, using very much his own voice.
Well, I could gruff it up a bit.
Okay. Is that gruffed up?
Kinda.
Are you from the north?
I might be.
Are you played by a Muppet?
Yes.
And we've also got Tiny Dan who plays Roy.
I hope.
Ooh,
hang on.
Where are you from?
I'm from Manchester, Sheffield.
Okay. I play a local high school teacher who has been trying to help Teenage Dirtbag through these. She's only ever referred to it as Teenage Dirtbag or TD. My name's Iqbal. I'm not going to do the accent. But I speak very much like myself, because a lot of people have come to see Steve in the show. I'm very much a big name, so I can't start affecting a different accent. That would be disappointing. So you join us late in this stage. Both of these ne'er-do-wells want the baby. They want to claim it for their own, for various reasons. Trevor, what's your plan?
Steal it. And use it as a front for my money laundering scheme.
You're gonna use it for your money laundering? How do you use a child as a front for money laundering schemes?
Basically, I'm running an ice cream van, which is a money laundering operation, and I need to attract children. So by having a pretty baby,
children will come and buy ice cream.
I'll tell you this, Trevor's going to be featuring in a sequel every week. There's no denying that. I think we're all in love with Trevor. Meanwhile, Roy, what's your plan?
I plan to use kids to make cheap trousers for export market for Isle of Man.
There's a big market in the Isle of Man for knocked off trousers.
Aye.
Okay, well, listen, do you have any idea, do you, TD, which of these is your is the real father?
I haven't got a clue.
Are you using your own accent there? Okay. You're still giggling away there.
Pretend I'm on the gas.
You're
and
on the
also
gas.
massively amused by my two partners.
What attracted you to these two men originally?
I'm very handsome.
Their entrepreneurial skills.
Sure. Well, listen, as Iqbal, the local high school teacher, I am going to play King Solomon. Alright? I'm going to see who the real father is, who really loves this baby as their own. Because I'm going to do exactly what King Solomon did, which is the only obvious solution. I'm going to cut the baby in half. Alright, you'll remember this, that was Solomon's plan. Cut the baby in half, give half to each. Okay, Trevor, what's your view on that?
There's money in offal.
There's money in offal, so you're happy for me to slice the baby in half?
Yep.
And what about you, Roy?
Well, I have to say, Iqbal, that slicing to baby in half seems slightly silly because to baby will be dead and will be of no use to either Trevor or indeed teenage dirtbag or myself, whether or not I am to dad.
So you're saying that I shouldn't cut the baby in half?
I think it's silly.
Are you happy for me to give it to Trevor?
Well, it's preferable to cutting little infants in half because it'll be messy and dead.
I've often thought that was true of King Solomon's plan. I've always thought maybe that was a flawed plan. You often said that King Solomon was the wisest man in the Bible. I'm not entirely convinced, because I don't understand why one person would allow the baby to be cut in half. I don't know who wants half a baby, even in olden times.
Well, I think Trevor should justify decision.
Well,
Like I said, money in offal, and you could sell entrails on eBay.
well, I've made my decision, and I've identified who the true father is. Only a person who truly loved the baby and adored it and wished it to be their own would allow it to be cut in half and sold for offal. So, Trevor, here's the little babby. May you be very happy with this Muppet and teenage dirtbag. Good night. The end. Thank you so much indeed for listening. That's pretty much it for the Steve Show. We're going to try and squeeze in another piece of music, but there's been no time really because we've got Stuart McConey coming up next. He's pre-recorded. He's on tape. He's not here. He's not here live. My apologies for that. But yes, we'll be back next week. We got anything exciting next week? Amanda Palmer coming in to play for us next week and have a chat, so that'll be tremendous. And is there any other final things we need to wrap up before we go? Because I know a lot of people have been texting and emailing. I don't want to leave anyone shortchanged.
Simon from South East Bucks got in touch. He was just after a bit more political satire in the show, and I know that we're literally seconds away from the end, so I think it's difficult, but I would say that
satire.
you would want that in Brian's Britain, wouldn't you?
Well, you
Simon?
know what I always return to, which is, chew on his spoof news stories.
Yeah.
A lorry load of wigs has crashed on the M4, and he's combing the area.
Yeah, actually.
Absolute classic. There was a madman has been terrorising nudist colonies with a meat cleaver. Inspector Johnson's had a tip-off, but he hopes to be back in work on Monday. Thanks very much.
Apologise.
See ya. Built in 1926, the Hotel Yorba was indeed a real hotel in Detroit, but is now no longer a hotel. It's used, I think, for government housing. Steve Show 6 Music with that kind of rock information, which is why so many of you tune in, I'm sure, every week. But I suspect it's not just for me and my rock facts, but also my posse here. A lot of people say posse is a bad word. I say no. It helps me fill in those awkward silences when I've got nothing to contribute. So have a round of applause, please, in a Steve Wright style as we welcome Harry, works in a bank. I think by his own admissions, one of the men responsible for the current economic climate.
Almost solely.
Interesting though, just like so many of the other bankers in the world, you've yet to issue an apology on the show.
Well, no, this is it.
He was very defensive.
Well, how sorry am I, you know?
Well, there we are.
Well, people had it good for so long, you know. You need a short, sharp shock sometimes, and this is what the world needs.
Yeah, but you fat cats, as you're probably off on your yacht, were you, at the weekend?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just fishing for fish.
Fishing for fish, yeah.
And then dangling them at the poor people on
Exactly,
the shore.
on the shore.
Oh, look at this lovely dinner.
The fisherman out of work on the shore. I'll tell you someone who needs no introduction, but it's going to get one anyway. Rufus wasn't with us last week, feeling a bit poorly, but he's back.
Yes.
Good to see you, still wearing the tash. Your
you.
play, of course, you're currently appearing in Noel Coward's Private Lives.
That's
I
right.
laugh, not because there's anything wrong with being in the play, but it seems so ill-fitting somehow with an indie rock music station that we should have someone appearing in Noel Coward's Private Lives, but nothing wrong with that at
Well,
all.
the Steve Show is nothing but eclectic, is it, Steve?
It's
Isn't
nothing
it?
but eclectic.
It's got its finger on every pulse.
Every
It's got
pulse.
its eye on every kind of bleeding heart in the world.
Yeah.
And it's sending out a message of love and information,
That's right.
as
yeah.
well as new music.
Love Nation.
So, for listeners to know that there is a moustache broadcasting to them today,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of comforting and a warm British kind of.
But also, what's good is it's a non-ironic moustache.
That's right. It's worn with. Funnily enough, it's interesting when you wear a moustache. I don't know if any gentlemen listeners have worn moustaches, but there was a charity campaign to get people to grow moustaches in November, and you get funny looks. Obviously, you realise that certain clothes don't work with your moustache. I can't wear my tight t-shirts and my tracksuit tops anymore. I
You
look like
could.
an idiot. I look either very gay or like someone. I just look like an idiot. So it's
Right.
got to be crisply ironed shirts and jumpers. And the other thing is, when I dance, I look very stupid.
Yeah.
When I do disco dancing, I look really stupid.
Sure.
But otherwise, through daily life, and when I'm in Shoreditch and Hoxton, apparently it's all cool to wear tashes. So,
Well, this is it. My suspicion is it's all a bit ironic over there.
yeah,
Lots of spiky hair and fashionable jeans.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
don't get me
So
started.
I'm wandering around the world now as much as I can to work out where I look cool and where I don't.
And 1972.
Yeah,
is
that's where I've got to.
Where you've got
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
I was reading. There's been some glowing reviews of your play.
Yes.
I saw you described in one earlier your performance as being playing a comic non-entity,
Really?
which I think in many ways sums up our show.
My favourite one so far has been Michael Billington of The Guardian, who said I played Victor with tweedy vindictiveness.
Tweedy vindictiveness.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I hope we'll be seeing plenty of that in today's show, as per normal.
Yeah, you will. Yes.
And Sammy from the North.
Hello.
No such class, but don't hold that against
Not
her.
at all.
How are you?
Okay, I'm desperately in need of a wee because I did go for a wee earlier, but I was actually rigging up an elaborate magic trick and actually didn't wee.
Thank you so much. We started so promisingly there with some highbrow conversation about the current economic crisis and the plays of Noel Coward, and you've already cheapened it. So typical of you and your ilk. From their album The Stoop, that's Little Jackie and 28 Butts. Steve Show's Six Music with me, Steve Merchant, and my gang of cronies. And controversy in the studio. You remember, I don't know if you were listening just before the show began, but Huey was playing some more reggae music. Big reggae fan, as you know. Often played some on the show. And controversy here, as Rufus declared, quite openly, yeah, furious he was. He loathes reggae. He hates reggae. Tweedy vindictiveness at its worst. This is outrageous. No one instantly presumes you're a massive racist.
I've said it before on
Have
the
you?
show. I've said before on the show that reggae music is not written with me in mind.
But that doesn't make any difference. No music appears to be written with you in mind, except possibly the Pomp and Circumstance by Elgar. That appears to be the only one that springs to
I
mind.
don't really hate reggae, but I can't.
Country House by Blur.
Yeah, that was definitely written for me.
There's going to be texts aplenty on this one. Yeah, but no, reggae you loathe.
It's not really a loathing. It's just a sense that I just don't get it. And the only time I've ever really enjoyed it was a very long time ago when I was enjoying possibly a semi-illegal substance.